Good morning, good-looking people, and you're good-looking because you're always looking, and of course, you are finding the good in everything and in everybody. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a great Purim. Today is Shushan Purim Katan, and we're doing the Hayom Yom for 15th of Adar. Again, it's a time of great energy, a time of joy, a time of happiness, so make sure to be tapping in. So we're going to be doing the Hayom Yom for the 15th of Adar Aleph. It's a longer Hayom Yom, so what we'll do is we'll go through it and I'll give you notes by each item as we go and read it inside so it doesn't take too long. So for the 15th of Adar Aleph, in the year that this came out, it was like today, it was Shabbos and it's Shushan Purim Katan. So for some instructions, it says when Shushan Purim Katan falls out on Shabbos, the passage beginning of Arachmim is omitted after Torah reading. And the afternoon service, the passage beginning with Tzidkascha, is also omitted. Next, on Shabbos, before reciting the blessing of Hamotzi, we make a mark in the loaf with a knife, though we do not care to cut into this mark. So it's very important, and we'll stop right there for a moment. The idea is when we're making Hamotzi on Shabbos, you'll see people will take a knife and they'll scratch a little mark in the challah, and then they'll make Hamotzi. What the custom is saying here, and what the note is saying here, is that we're careful not to look for that scratch and try to cut into it, because it will delay the inevitable of trying to eat the bread as soon as possible. We make a bracha, we want to eat quickly. So trying to find that scratch, it's just going to delay. And why this is a chiddush and what the Rebbe is bringing it up is, of course, to emphasize the Chabad minhag. There are other minhagim that say that in the first two meals of Shabbos, they don't make that scratch. They only do it at Sudah Shlishi or Shal Shudas, however you pronounce it. But the idea is, it's being brought up today, is that Chabad has this custom, and we do it by all three meals. Continuing on, it says, not only when Kiddush is recited over wine, but also when Kiddush is recited over bread, the blessing is preceded by the phrase, Savri Moranan, which means gentlemen, attention. Another interesting point. We say Savri Moranan before we make Kiddush. The Rebbe is saying, because in the Siddur it only says Savri Moranan by the Kiddush, it doesn't say for people that make Hamotzi on Kiddush on bread. Also it's saying we say Savri Moranan by that point, for people that are also making Kiddush on Challah. And the note here is, they say because of the tree of knowledge and the whole story that happened with wine, that we want it to be for good things, so we say Savri Moranan. And some people also say that the tree of knowledge was wheat, and therefore Savri Moranan is also brought up by wheat. Moving on to the Hayom Yom. Here we go. With regard to the ultimate future, it is written, a stone will cry out from the wall, and a sliver will answer it from within the beams. At present, and inanimate objects are silent. Even when treaded on, they hold their peace. However, there will come a future time of revelation when the objects will begin to talk, and they'll begin to relate, and they'll begin to accuse. It says, if a person didn't think or speak words of Torah while he was walking, he'll say, why did he tread on them? The stones will talk. Why are you treading on us? And it says, for thousands of years, since the 6 days of creation, the earth upon which we tread has been waiting, while numerous creatures have trodden upon it. And the earth is waiting for one or two Jews to walk on it and exchange Torah. For if they don't, the earth declares that you are no different than an animal. There's a lot of interesting points being made out today. And it also says how the Baal Shem Tov talked about how there are pieces of the world that are waiting to be elevated. We have all these things that were created when the world was given in the first 6 days, and they can't speak since. However, each item has a mission to accomplish. And as we mentioned in the past, on the 7th of Adar, that if we're not doing our part, we're no better than the item we're walking on, because that item, whether it's the ground or the street, it's fulfilling its mission from God. Now, it can't speak yet, but it's saying it's been waiting since the days of creation in order for Jews to walk on it to be able to give some Torah, because animals can't speak, animals can't learn. So if all these animals are walking on it, that's one thing. But if Jewish people come and they start walking on the street and they're not sharing words of Torah, that's when the street starts to say, why are you better than me? And that's the key of the day, is to have Torah with us. And something very interesting in one of the notes is it says in the Mishnah that on the 15th of Adar was the 15th of the month, was the time that the people would go out and they would fix the streets for the communities, for the people walking through. So being that this is the 15th of Adar, it also brings up physically fixing the streets, but also spiritually fixing the streets. And there's a small note here from the Baal Shem Tov. And the story is given over by the Rebbe Rayatz in the Kutei Deborim, that the Baal Shem Tov once sent one of his Hasidim to observe something, and he went through the woods, and he came to a stream. And the Chassid took some water from the stream, he made a bracha, and he drank, and also he took water to prepare to wash his hands for davening. And it says that stream from the time of creation was waiting for somebody to come and make a bracha there and to uplift it. And that's really the concept of the day, is that we are in all different places at all different times in all different situations. That's what's awesome. But no, we are there for a reason. That's the Hashgacha Pratis. That's the divine providence. And when we're there, we need to elevate. We need to uplift that environment from the basic walking in the street to being in a remote location, having the opportunity to make a bracha, to daven, or do a mitzvah in that location. Have a wonderful day. Happy Purim. All the good energy. Wishing you a successful week.